Unexpected inheritance. Jake Morrison stared out the window of his office at the United Earth Embassy on Mars, watching the rusty landscape stretch endlessly before him. The red planet had been his home for the past 3 years, and while he'd grown accustomed to its harsh beauty, a part of him still longed for the lush greens and blues of Earth. A gentle chime from his desk computer broke his reverie. Incoming transmission from Zenovia, Diplomat Morrison, the AI assistant announced. Priority level, urgent. Jake's brow furrowed. Zenovia was a distant world, home to one of the most enigmatic alien species humanity had encountered since achieving faster-than-light travel. His last contact with the Zenovians had been 5 years ago. 6? He couldn't quite remember. Accept transmission, Jake said, straightening his posture and smoothing down his regulation grey uniform. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a Zenovian face. Jake had to suppress a small gasp. Even after years of interacting with various alien species, the sight of its Zenovians still took his breath away. Their skin shimmered with an opalescent quality, shifting colors like the surface of a soap bubble. Almond-shaped eyes of liquid silver regarded him impassively. "Greetings, Diplomat Morrison," the Zenovian said, its voice a melodious hum that seemed to resonate in Jake's chest. "I am Zix, Chief Legal Counsel to the late Ambassador Krell of Zenovia." Jake's heart skipped a beat. "Late Ambassador Krell," he repeated, his mind racing. Krell had been his friend, his mentor during his first off-world posting. They'd bonded over a shared love of Earth's classical music and Zenovian philosophy. But they'd lost touch over the years, careers and light years coming between them. Zix's skin rippled in what Jake recognized as a gesture of sympathy. "Yes, I regret to inform you that Ambassador Krell passed into the great beyond 3 solar cycles ago. However, this is not merely a courtesy call. You, Jake Morrison, have been named as the primary beneficiary in Ambassador Krell's will." The words hit Jake like a plasma bolt. He collapsed back into his chair, mouth agape. What? There must be some mistake. Krell and I were friends, yes, but we hadn't spoken in years. Surely his family. Ambassador Krell had no living family, Zix interrupted gently. And he was quite explicit in his wishes. You are to inherit the majority of his estate, including his holdings in the Zenovia Interstellar Trading Company. Jake's mind reeled. The Zenovia Interstellar Trading Company was one of the largest corporations in this sector of the galaxy, with interests spanning dozens of star systems. "But I don't know the first thing about running an interstellar corporation," he protested weakly. Zix's skin shimmered with what might have been amusement. "Ambassador Krell anticipated your reluctance. He left a message for you." A small data crystal materialized in the holographic display. "This contains his final words to you, as well as all the necessary legal documentation. You have 1 standard month to arrive on Zenovia and claim your inheritance, or it will pass to other parties." The way Zix said "other parties" sent a chill down Jake's spine. There was clearly more going on here than a simple transfer of assets. I understand," Jake said, trying to gather his composure. "Thank you, Zix. I'll review the message and make arrangements to travel to Zenovia as soon as possible." Zix inclined his head in a gesture of respect. "We await your arrival, Diplomat Morrison. Safe journey." The holographic display winked out, leaving Jake alone with his tumultuous thoughts. With trembling hands, he inserted the data crystal into his computer. Krell's familiar face appeared, those silver eyes twinkling with the same mischievous light Jake remembered. "Jake, my friend," Krell's recorded message began. "If you're seeing this, then I have passed beyond the veil of this existence. But don't mourn for me. I've lived a full life, and now I'm entrusting you with its legacy." Jake listened, spellbound, as Krell explained his decision. The Zenovian spoke of a looming crisis, of factions within the trading company that threatened not just its future, but the delicate balance of power in this sector of the galaxy. He spoke of his faith in Jake's integrity, his human ingenuity and adaptability. "I know this is a lot to ask," Krell concluded, his expression growing serious. "But I believe you're the only one who can navigate the challenges ahead. You'll have help. Look for Lyra, she'll guide you. Trust her as I have. Good luck, my friend. The fate of worlds may rest in your hands." The message ended, leaving Jake in stunned silence. He stared out the window again, but this time he didn't see the Martian landscape. His mind was light years away, on a shimmering alien world he'd visited only once, long ago. A wry smile tugged at his lips. He joined the diplomatic course seeking adventure, hoping to make a difference in humanity's journey to the stars. Well, it seemed the universe had finally taken him up on that offer. Jake stood, straightening his uniform with newfound purpose. He had preparations to make, a journey to undertake, and apparently a galaxy to save. As he strode out of his office, he couldn't help but chuckle. "Oh, Krell," he muttered, "what have you gotten me into this time?" The doors of the United Earth Embassy slid shut behind him, marking the end of one chapter in Jake Morrison's life and the beginning of an adventure beyond his wildest dreams. The stars awaited, and with them, a destiny he could never have imagined. Zenovian horizons. The quantum drive of the interstellar shuttle Earthbound Dreamer hummed to life, its energy signature a stark contrast to the crystalline architecture of Zenovia's orbital station. Jake Morrison stood at the viewport, his reflection ghostly against the backdrop of the alien world below. Swerving bands of iridescent gases painted the planet's atmosphere in hues that defied Earth's color spectrum. Initiating atmospheric entry, Ambassador Morrison, the ship's AI announced, its voice carrying an unsettling harmonic that was all the rage in human Zenovian fusion culture. Jake winced. "Please, just Jake. I'm no ambassador." Biosignature detected, the AI continued, ignoring his protest. Identifying as error, unable to classify, recommendation, prepare for anomaly. Jake's hand instinctively went to the holo pendant Krell had left him. What kind of anomaly? The ship shuddered, veering off its predetermined course. Swerving tendrils of bioluminescent gas enveloped the shuttle, pulsing with alien intelligence. "By the void," Jake whispered, pressing his palm against the viewport. The gas seemed to react, coalescing into a vaguely humanoid shape. Two pinpricks of intense light formed where eyes might be, regarding Jake with unmistakable curiosity. A voice resonated in his mind, bypassing his ears entirely. "Jacob Morrison of Earth, you carry the essence of Krell. Explain." Jake swallowed hard, his diplomatic training kicking in despite the surreal situation. I'm here because of Krell's will. He left me his estate, his company. Are you a friend of his?" A ripple passed through the gaseous being. "Friend, a limited concept. We were symbiotic. Now you inherit his role. But are you worthy? Are you compatible?" Before Jake could respond, tendrils of gas seeped through the shuttle's hull, surrounding him in a cocoon of swirling color. He felt a presence probing his mind, sifting through memories, experiences, hopes, and fears. "Fascinating," the voice echoed in his thoughts. "Your kind possesses a chaotic adaptability. Unpredictable, dangerous, yet potential." The cocoon dissipated, leaving Jake gasping for breath. The gaseous entity resumed its position outside the shuttle. "You may proceed, Jacob Morrison, but be warned. Zenovia does not yield its secrets easily. The path Krell has set you upon is fraught with peril. We will be watching." With that, the entity dissolved into the atmosphere, leaving Jake alone with more questions than answers. The shuttle resumed its descent, breaking through layers of shimmering clouds to reveal a landscape that defied easy description. Massive structures of living crystal pulsed with inner light, while rivers of what appeared to be liquid data flowed between them. Beings of various shapes and compositions moved about in patterns too complex for Jake's human mind to fully grasp. As the shuttle approached a docking port that seemed to grow organically from a towering spire, Jake steeled himself for whatever awaited him. The holo pendant at his chest grew warm, projecting a small image of Krell. "If you're seeing this, Jake," the recording said, "you've made it past the atmospheric sentinels. Good. Trust your instincts, but remember, on Zenovia, nothing is as it seems. Lyra will find you soon. Let her be your guide, but keep your wits about you. The game is afoot, old friend, and the stakes are higher than you can imagine." The hologram flickered out just as the shuttle touched down. Jake took a deep breath, straightening his Earth-made suit that suddenly felt woefully inadequate. As the airlock cycled open, a wave of alien sensations washed over him, scents he couldn't name, sounds at the edge of perception, and a feeling of vast, ancient intelligence pressing against his consciousness. A figure stood waiting on the other side of the airlock, humanoid in shape, but with skin that rippled like the surface of a pond and eyes that seemed to contain entire galaxies. When it spoke, its voice was a symphony of harmonics that made Jake's bones resonate. "Welcome to Zenovia, Jacob Morrison," the being said, inclining its head in a gesture that was almost, but not quite, a bow. "I am Lyra. Krell entrusted me with ensuring your transition." Jake stepped forward on shaky legs, fighting the urge to gape at his surroundings. "It's an honor to meet you, Lyra. I have to admit, I'm feeling a bit out of my depth here." Lyra's skin shimmered in what Jake hoped was amusement rather than disdain. That is to be expected. Few humans have ventured this deep into Zenovia. Fewer still have been thrust into a position such as yours. She gestured towards the sprawling alien cityscape. "Come. There is much to discuss, and time, as your people say, is of the essence." As they walked along pathways that seemed to form and reform with each step, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched from every angle. Beings of light and shadow flitted at the edges of his vision, while structures that defied Euclidean geometry loomed overhead. "Lyra," Jake said, trying to keep his voice steady, "what exactly did Krell involve me in? And why me?" Lyra's pace slowed, her gaze fixed on some distant point. "Krell saw something in you, Jacob Morrison, a quality that he believed essential for navigating the challenges that lie ahead. As for what those challenges are," she trailed off, her form briefly flickering like a faulty hologram. Jake blinked, unsure if he'd imagined it. "Lyra, are you all right?" She reformed, her eyes now focused intently on Jake. "We are being followed. Krell's enemies move faster than anticipated. We must hurry." Before Jake could react, Lyra grabbed his arm. The world around them seemed to fold in on itself, reality twisting in ways that made his human brain scream in protest. When everything snapped back into focus, they were standing in a vast chamber, filled with swirling holographic displays and pulsing bioorganic technology. "Welcome," Lyra said, her voice tight with urgency, "to the heart of the Zenovia Interstellar Trading Company. Your inheritance and the key to the galaxy's future." Jake stared in awe at the streams of data flowing around him, each particle representing trade deals, planetary resources, and the fates of entire civilizations. "What am I supposed to do with all this?" he whispered. Lyra's form shimmered, resolve evident in her otherworldly features. "You must learn quickly, Jacob Morrison. Forces are aligning against us, seeking to use the company's power for their own ends. Krell believed that your human perspective, your capacity for lateral thinking and adaptability, could find a path through the coming storm." A distant boom shook the chamber, causing the holographic displays to flicker. "And it seems," Lyra added grimly, "that storm has arrived sooner than we expected. Are you ready to embrace your destiny, Jacob Morrison of Earth?" Jake's mind raced, overwhelmed by the alien wonders around him and the weight of responsibility suddenly thrust upon his shoulders. But beneath the fear and uncertainty, a spark of determination ignited. This is why he joined the diplomatic course, why he yearned to explore the stars, to make a difference on a cosmic scale. He met Lyra's galactic gaze, a wry smile tugging at his lips. "Ready? Not even close. but let's do this anyway. As alarms began to blare and the chamber locked down around them, Jake Morrison, former Earth diplomat, reluctant inheritor, and humanity's unwitting champion, prepared to face challenges beyond his wildest imagination. The fate of multiple civilizations now rested in very human hands. Quantum entanglements. Jake's fingers danced across the bioorganic interface, each touch sending ripples of data cascading through the chamber. Lyra hovered nearby, her form shifting between states of matter as she processed information at speeds that made Jake's head spin. "The Syndicate is making its move," Lyra hummed, her voice a chorus of harmonics. "They're exploiting a quantum loophole in the trade agreements with the Void Dwellers of Sector 9. Jake frowned, his human mind struggling to grasp the multidimensional concepts. "Can you translate that into something I can work with?" Lyra's form coalesced into a more humanoid shape, her eyes swirling pools of cosmic dust. "Imagine each trade agreement as a thread in a vast cosmic tapestry. The Syndicate is trying to unravel a specific thread that, if pulled, could collapse entire economies across 3 galactic arms." "Right," Jake muttered. "No pressure." He took a deep breath, centering himself. "Okay, let's think outside the box. In human history, we've had similar issues with complex financial instruments. What if we could quarantine the affected agreements?" Lyra's skin rippled with interest. "Quarantine. Explain." Jake's fingers flew across the interface, pulling up holographic representations of the trade networks. "If we can't stop them from pulling the thread, maybe we can contain the damage. Create a sort of quantum firewall around the affected sectors." As he spoke, the holo pendant at his chest grew warm. A small projection of Krell appeared, but this time it seemed more aware. "Clever, Jake," the hologram said, startling both Jake and Lyra. "But remember, on Zenovia, information is more than data. It's alive." The hologram flickered out, leaving Jake wide-eyed. Did you see that?" Lyra's form shimmered with uncertainty. "Krell's essence may have imprinted more deeply on that device than we realized, but we don't have time to investigate now. Your quarantine idea has merit. Let's implement it." As they worked, manipulating strands of living data and weaving new patterns into the cosmic trade tapestry, alarms blared again. The chamber shuddered, and cracks appeared in reality itself, revealing glimpses of other dimensions bleeding through. "They're attempting a brute force breach," Lyra exclaimed, her form dispersing into a cloud of glowing particles. "Jake, you must complete the quarantine. I'll hold them off." Jake watched in awe as Lyra's particles swarmed towards the dimensional cracks, forming a shimmering barrier. Through the gaps, he caught terrifying glimpses of the attackers, beings of shadow and void, their forms defying the laws of physics. Gritting his teeth, Jake turned back to the interface. "Come on, think," he muttered to himself. "What would Krell do?" As if in response, the holo pendant pulsed. Suddenly, Jake's mind was flooded with alien equations and cosmic constants. His hands moved of their own accord, inputting complex sequences into the bioorganic systems. A new holographic display burst to life, showing a 3-dimensional map of the affected trade routes. But this was unlike any map Jake had ever seen. The trade routes were alive, pulsing with energy and information, and at key junctions, tiny singularities began to form. Of course, Jake breathed, understanding flowing through him like a cosmic wind. "We're not just quarantining the data. We're creating micro-black holes to contain the quantum entanglement." Behind him, Lyra's particle barrier began to falter. Tendrils of shadow snaked through, bringing with them a cold that went beyond the physical. "Jake," Lyra's voice echoed, strained and distant. "Whatever you're doing, do it fast." With a final, decisive gesture, Jake activated the new protocol. The chamber filled with a blinding light as the micro-black holes sprang into existence along the trade routes. The invading shadows recoiled, sucked into the quantum firewalls. As the light faded, Jake slumped to the floor, exhausted. Lyra reformed beside him, her usual shimmering appearance dimmed. "You did it," she said softly. "The quarantine is holding. The syndicate's attack has been contained." Jake managed a weak smile. "We did it. But what exactly did we do? And how did I know how to do it?" Lyra's form rippled with what might have been concern. "I'm not sure. It seems Krell left more than just his wealth and company to you. Somehow, he's passed on some of his knowledge as well." The holo pendant glowed warmly against Jake's chest. Krell's image appeared again, this time with a mischievous twinkle in his silvery eyes. "Well done, old friend," the hologram said. "You're starting to see the bigger picture. But remember, in this game of cosmic chess, you've only made the opening move. The real challenges lie ahead." As the hologram faded, Jake exchanged a look with Lyra. The weight of the situation settled on him anew, but now it was tinged with excitement. He was no longer just a diplomat thrust into an alien world. He was becoming something more, a bridge between humanity and the cosmic wonders of Zenovia. "All right," Jake said, pushing himself to his feet. "What's our next move?" Lyra's form shimmered with renewed energy. "Now we take the fight to the Syndicate. But first, there's someone you need to meet. The true power behind the Zenovia Interstellar Trading Company." As they prepared to leave the chamber, Jake cast one last look at the swirling holographic displays. The trade routes pulsed with life, the micro-black holes shimmering at key points like cosmic guardians. He had taken his first steps into a larger universe, and there was no turning back. With Lyra at his side and the essence of Krell guiding him, Jake Morrison, the unlikely human inheritor of a galactic legacy, strode forward to face his destiny. The cosmic chess game had begun, and the fate of civilizations hung in the balance. Synaptic symphonies. The transit pod hummed with bioluminescent energy as it shot through Zenovia's crystalline veins. Jake sat cross-legged, his eyes closed, fingers lightly touching the holo pendant. Across from him, Lyra's form pulsed in rhythm with the pod's movement. "We're approaching the nexus," Lyra's voice resonated, 1,000 wind chimes in perfect harmony. "Prepare yourself, Jake. What you're about to experience may overwhelm your human senses." Jake opened his eyes, a wry smile playing on his lips. "After everything we've been through, I doubt anything cold." His words caught in his throat as the pod emerged into a vast, impossible space. Calling it a room would be like calling a galaxy a light bulb. Streams of conscious data flowed like rivers of starlight, converging at a central point that defied description, a singularity of pure information. "Welcome," Lyra said, her form expanding to fill the pod, to the mind of Zenovia. The pod dissolved around them, and Jake found himself floating in the data stream. Panic gripped him for a moment before he realized he could breathe, if breathing was even the right word for exchanging information with the very fabric of this reality. A voice that was not a voice reverberated through Jake's being. "Jacob Morrison of Earth, we have awaited your arrival." The data streams coalesced into a shape that Jake's mind struggled to comprehend. It was as if the entire history of the universe had been compressed into a single sentient form. "I am Synapse," the being continued, its thoughts cascading through Jake in waves of color and emotion. "I am the collective consciousness of Zenovia, the true power behind the Interstellar Trading Company." Jake's diplomatic training kicked in, prompting him to bow awkwardly while floating in the data stream. "It's an honor to meet you, Synapse. I admit, I'm a little out of my depth here." A ripple of amusement passed through the data streams. "Your honesty is refreshing, young human. It is precisely why Krell chose you. The Syndicate's attack was but a prelude. The real threat comes from within, a cancer in the very code of our existence." Images flashed through Jake's mind. Corrupt data nodes, parasitic algorithms, entire sectors of the galaxy going dark. The entropy virus, Lyra's voice whispered from everywhere and nowhere. Synapse's form pulsed with urgency. "Yes, a malevolent code that seeks to unravel the very fabric of our reality." And now it has found a vector into the human sphere. Jake's heart raced. Earth is in danger. All is in danger, Synapse replied. But you, Jacob Morrison, possess a unique quality. Your human consciousness, unbounded by our logical constraints, may be the key to stopping the entropy virus. Before Jake could respond, tendrils of data reached out, enveloping him. He gasped as information flooded his senses, the entire history of Zenovia, the intricate workings of the trading company, and the fundamental laws of this alien reality. As the data stream receded, Jake felt changed. His mind had expanded, able to process information on levels he never thought possible. Yet, at his core, he remained undeniably human. You are now connected to the Synaptic network, Lyra explained, her form shimmering with excitement. You can access the collective knowledge of Zenovia, but your human intuition remains intact. Jake flexed his newfound mental muscles, marveling at the cosmic tapestry now visible to him. So, what's our next move? Synapse's form shifted, revealing a pulsing node of corrupted data. The entropy virus has taken root here, in the quantum bazaar. It's a nexus of trade and information, spanning multiple dimensions. You must go there, find the source of the corruption and excise it. But be warned, Lyra added, her voice tinged with concern. The bazaar operates on rules beyond even Zenovian understanding. Your human unpredictability may be your greatest asset and your greatest vulnerability. Jake nodded, a determined glint in his eye. I'm ready. With a thought, he accessed the Synaptic network, plotting a course to the quantum bazaar. As he prepared to depart, Synapse's voice echoed one last time. Remember, Jacob Morrison, in the bazaar, thoughts are currency, and dreams can become reality. Trust in your humanity, for it may be the salvation of us all. In a burst of quantum energy, Jake felt himself being transported, his consciousness stretched across dimensions. The familiar weight of the holo pendant against his chest anchored him as he hurtled towards his greatest challenge yet. As the swirling energies of interdimensional travel engulfed him, Jake caught a fleeting glimpse of Earth, a tiny blue marble in the cosmic sea. He silently vowed to protect it, and all the wonders of this vast, strange universe he now called home. With a final surge of energy, Jake materialized in the heart of the quantum bazaar. The scene that greeted him defied description, a kaleidoscopic swirl of realities, where the laws of physics were mere suggestions and probability itself was up for negotiation. Beings of pure energy haggled with crystalline entities over strands of distilled time. Holographic merchants peddled wares that existed simultaneously in multiple states. And there, lurking in the shadows between dimensions, Jake sensed the insidious tendrils of the entropy virus. Taking a deep breath, Jake Morrison, former Earth diplomat, reluctant cosmic inheritor, and humanity's improbable champion, stepped into the chaotic heart of the quantum bazaar. The next phase of his impossible journey was about to begin, with the fate of multiple realities hanging in the balance. Probability paradox. The quantum bazaar pulsed with chaotic energy, a nexus of infinite possibilities colliding in a cosmic dance. Jake's newly expanded consciousness struggled to process a sensory overload. Beings of pure thought bartered with entities made of crystallized time. Probability waves crashed against shores of solidified chance. Jake's attention was drawn to a peculiar stall, where a merchant with kaleidoscopic skin juggled what appeared to be miniature universes. As he approached, the merchant's eyes, all 17 of them, locked onto him. Ah, a singular entity in a plural realm, the merchant exclaimed, its voice a symphony of quantum fluctuations. What fortune seeks you, traveler? Jake opened his mouth to respond, but instead of words, a stream of mathematical equations poured forth. The merchant's eyes widened in surprise. Fascinating, it chittered. You speak the tongue of cosmic constants. Perhaps I have something that might interest you. The merchant reached into a fold of spacetime, pulling out a shimmering object that hurt Jake's eyes to look at directly. It was as shrouding a sphere, a paradoxical item that existed in all states simultaneously. The entropy virus, Jake managed to say, his words still tinged with equations. Have you encountered it? The merchant's skin rippled with concern. Ah, the great unraveler. Yes, its tendrils have reached even here. But beware, singular one. In seeking to destroy entropy, you may hasten its spread. Before Jake could inquire further, a commotion erupted nearby. A group of shadow beings, their forms constantly shifting between states of matter, were arguing with a merchant made of pure light. The price is too high, one shadow being hissed. We demand a refund of our invested realities. The light merchant pulsed indignantly. All sales of potential futures are final. You knew the risks of probability manipulation. Jake sensed the corruption of the entropy virus lurking beneath the surface of this dispute. He approached cautiously, the synaptic network humming in the back of his mind. Perhaps I can offer a solution, Jake said, surprised to find his words now manifesting as shimmering holograms. All eyes and other sensory organs turned to him. The shadow beings writhed with curiosity, while the light merchant dimmed slightly in suspicion. Jake concentrated, accessing the vast knowledge of Zenovia through the synaptic network. He began weaving a complex web of probabilities in the air before him, each strand representing a possible outcome of the dispute. What if, Jake proposed, his words creating fractal patterns in the fabric of reality, we could split the difference across multiple timelines? He manipulated the probability web, showcasing a solution where the disputed realities were shared across parallel dimensions, satisfying both parties without collapsing the delicate balance of the bazaar. The shadow beings and light merchant considered the proposal, their forms rippling with calculations. Finally, they reached an agreement, the contract sealed with a burst of quantum entanglement. As the parties dispersed, Jake noticed a subtle shift in the bazaar's energy. The corrupt tendrils of the entropy virus had receded slightly, unable to feed on the discord it had sown. Most impressive, singular one, the kaleidoscopic merchant chimed in. You've tapped into the true power of the bazaar, the art of probability manipulation. Jake nodded, a plan forming in his mind. The virus thrives on chaos and discord, but what if we could use the bazaar's nature against it? He turned to the merchant, an idea crystallizing. I need to make a trade. The merchant's eyes twinkled with excitement. And what do you offer in exchange? Jake hesitated for a moment, then reached for the holo pendant containing Krell's essence. A fragment of a singular timeline infused with the wisdom of two realms. The merchant gasped, its form shimmering with desire. A rare treasure indeed, and what do you seek in return? A quantum algorithm, Jake said, his voice resonating with newfound confidence. One that can rewrite the very rules of probability. The merchant considered for a moment, then nodded. A fair exchange, but be warned, singular one. To wield such power is to dance on the edge of creation and destruction. As the trade was made, Jake felt a fundamental shift in his being. The comforting presence of Krell's essence faded, replaced by an overwhelming sense of cosmic potential. With the quantum algorithm now part of him, Jake turned his attention to the heart of the bazaar, where the entropy virus pulsed strongest. He began to weave a new web of probability, not just for a single dispute, but for the entire multidimensional market. As he worked, reality itself seemed to bend around him. Timelines split and merged, causality looped in on itself, and the very fabric of existence rippled like a pond disturbed by a stone. The entropy virus, sensing the threat, lashed out with tendrils of corrupted data. But Jake was ready. He used the quantum algorithm to rewrite the rules of engagement, turning the virus's strength against itself. A cosmic battle ensued, played out across dimensions and probabilities. Jake's human intuition, combined with Zenovian knowledge and the power of the bazaar, clashed against the virus's relentless drive towards chaos. As the conflict reached its crescendo, Jake made a final, desperate gambit. He created a probability loop, trapping the virus in an endless cycle of self-negation. With a reality-shaking boom, the entropy virus collapsed in on itself, leaving behind a void of pure potential. The bazaar fell silent, every being and entity frozen in awe. Then, slowly, a cheer began to build, rippling across dimensions and realities. Jake stood at the center of it all, his form now a swirling mix of human and cosmic energies. He had done the impossible, defeated the entropy virus, and saved not just Earth or Zenovia, but the very concept of ordered existence itself. As the implications of his victory began to sink in, Jake realized his journey was far from over. He had become something new, a bridge between humanity and the cosmic wonders of the universe. With the power of probability at his fingertips and the wisdom of two worlds in his heart, Jake Morrison prepared to face whatever challenges the vast, strange cosmos had in store for him next. The quantum bazaar pulsed with renewed energy, a testament to the power of possibility and the indomitable spirit of a single human who dared to rewrite the rules of reality itself. Convergence of infinities. The aftermath of Jake's victory rippled across the multiverse, creating shockwaves of possibility. As the quantum bazaar recalibrated around him, Jake felt his consciousness expand beyond the boundaries of singular existence. He was everywhere and everywhen, a living conduit of cosmic potential. Suddenly, a familiar voice cut through the cacophony of realities. "Jake, focus on my voice." It was Lyra, her form now a constellation of quantum probabilities. With tremendous effort, Jake coalesced his fragmented self back into a semblance of human form. The bazaar crystallized around him, its usual chaos now ordered into fractal patterns of breathtaking complexity. What happened to me?" Jake's voice echoed across multiple frequencies. Lyra's stellar form pulsed with concern. "The quantum algorithm, combined with your human unpredictability, has transformed you into a living probability nexus. You've become a fundamental force of the universe, Jake." Before he could process this, a new presence made itself known. Synapse, the collective consciousness of Zenovia, manifested as a swirling vortex of pure information. Jacob Morrison of Earth, of Zenovia, of everywhere, Synapse intoned, its voice a harmony of all possible sounds. "You have reshaped the cosmic order. The question now is, what reality will you choose to manifest?" Jake looked down at his hands, now shimmering with unrealized timelines. "I don't understand. What do you mean, choose to manifest?" A chuckle resonated through the bazaar, and Jake turned to see the kaleidoscopic merchant approach, now a being of pure conceptual thought. "You've become a creator, singular now plural one," the merchant explained. "Your every thought has the power to birth or end universes, a power both magnificent and terrible." The weight of this revelation threatened to shatter Jake's newly reconstructed form. Lyra, sensing his distress, reached out with tendrils of starlight to stabilize him. "But you're still human at your core, Jake," she reminded him gently. "That's what makes you unique. You can bridge the gap between cosmic forces and individual experiences." As if to underscore her point, the holo pendant, which Jake had traded away, suddenly materialized around his neck, pulsing with renewed energy. Krell's image appeared, more vivid than ever. "Well done, old friend," Krell said, his voice carrying the wisdom of eons. "You've exceeded even my wildest expectations. But your greatest challenge lies ahead, finding balance." Jake closed his eyes, feeling the ebb and flow of realities coursing through him. He saw Earth, a tiny blue marble teeming with life and potential. He saw Zenovia, a shimmering tapestry of advanced consciousness. And he saw countless other worlds, each unique and precious. In that moment, Jake understood his true purpose. He wasn't meant to rule or reshape reality on a whim. He was a custodian, a guardian of the delicate cosmic balance. Opening his eyes, Jake addressed the assembled cosmic entities. "I choose harmony," he declared, his words reshaping the very fabric of existence. A multiverse where every reality, every possibility has the chance to flourish. With a gesture, Jake began to weave a new cosmic tapestry. Earth and Zenovia became anchor points, connected by threads of shared knowledge and culture. The quantum bazaar transformed into a multidimensional hub of peaceful exchange and collaboration. As the new reality took shape, Jake felt his overwhelming cosmic power begin to distribute itself across the multiverse. He was no longer a singular nexus of probability, but a guiding consciousness present in every reality. Lyra, Synapse, and the kaleidoscopic merchant watched in awe as Jake Morrison, once a simple human diplomat, reshaped the cosmos with wisdom, compassion, and the uniquely human touch of creativity. "What now?" Lyra asked, her stellar form aligning with the new cosmic order. Jake smiled, feeling more like himself than he had since this journey began. "Now we explore, we learn, we grow. Together." With a final pulse of cosmic energy, Jake set the new multiverse in motion. Earth would gradually awaken to its place in a much larger, more wondrous cosmos. Zenovia would learn the value of human unpredictability and emotion, and countless other realities would find their own paths, guided by the subtle influence of a human who had become so much more. As for Jake Morrison, diplomat, inheritor, cosmic guardian, he prepared for an eternity of discovery and wonder. With Lyra at his side, the wisdom of Krell in his heart, and the infinite possibilities of the multiverse before him, he took the first step on a journey without end. In the depths of the quantum bazaar, now a shining beacon of multiversal cooperation, a new legend began to spread. It spoke of a human who inherited the stars, reshaped reality, and chose to use that power not for dominion, but for harmony. And somewhere, in a small office on Mars, a quantum fluctuation caused a computer to chime. On the screen, a simple message appeared. "To all of humanity, welcome to the cosmic community. The greatest adventure is about to begin." The universe, in all its infinite variations, pulsed with anticipation of what was to come.